What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDoc.com, and after 16 months, 16 long months, that's like an eternity in the wireless world, the iPhone is finally here. iPhone 4S, the successor to the popular iPhone 4, is in the house, and it's available in several flavors, 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes in black or in white for $199, $299, and $399 respectively. Now this one's a little bit different because it's available on AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint this time around, so you can get your fix on any of the three, the top three at least, of the four nationwide carriers. Now this goes up against some pretty hot competition right now. A lot of cool Android phones coming out, the Droid Razr rumored to be coming out soon, and many, many more. Is this thing going to hold a candle to the latest Android devices, or should you hold off and get something else? We'll find out in the full review of the iPhone 4S. But first, special thanks to my boys at Best Buy Mobile, because they hook us up with all kinds of cool phones, just like the iPhone 4S, for use in our One Paw Bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. When you get your iPhone, they'll help you set up your email, your web, your apps, all that stuff, your app store, and more. So when you walk out the door, you're working, you don't have to worry about setting anything up at Best Buy Mobile. Now let's get into it. iPhone 4S, full review. Is this the phone to get, or should you hold off for the iPhone 5? To continue from part one, we're talking a little bit about iCloud, and just like it sounds, it's storage in the cloud, so you can update, you can make sure your bookmarks are synchronized, your contacts, your emails, you can use PhotoStream. It's all synchronized into one place in the cloud on Apple's servers. Now you get some free 5 gigabytes with any iPhone, so 5 gigs are free, and you can upgrade. I can't remember the prices off the top of my head, but you can upgrade to, I think it's like 10, 20, and 50 gigabytes if I remember right of storage, and for a certain price per year, and you get that. So you can update your bookmarks. Whenever you do a note on this iPhone, if you want to synchronize it to your other 4 iPhones and iPad, as soon as you hit save, iCloud synchronizes it up to the cloud and spins it out to those various devices. So some huge improvements, and the cloud is where everything's going, but one thing I really like is I can come in here into to music, for example, and I can go to more if I want to. Actually, I may be in the wrong area if I remember right. It's iTunes. And go to, wait for it to load up here on Sprint's 3G. And I can come down here where it's going to pop up with a little button that says Purchased. I can click on Purchased, and it brings up, based on my Apple ID, every single song, every single video that I've ever purchased on that ID. I can download those all to the phone. You'll need a Wi-Fi connection for that. But I can download those all to the phone without ever touching iTunes. Now, it's a long, drawn-out process, but if you ever buy a song on your iPad or buy a song on this phone and you have iCloud enabled on your computer, on your iPad, and on your phone, the song syncs to all of those. So again, it's a nice little revolutionary thing that they've added in iOS 5. Huge improvement. I can't underscore that enough because, I hated it when I had a song on here, I didn't have it on my computer, I had it on my computer, but not on here, or not on the iPad, or whatever. You can synchronize those all across the board. Same thing with apps as well. You can set it to synchronize apps, so when I download an app on a Verizon iPhone 4S, if it's synced to the same account, I can do it, it'll auto-download to the Sprint one as well. And it's kind of funny when you download a song on the computer and it's turned on, a little button, a little box pops up rather, that says, you just downloaded, or a song was just downloaded to the computer, here it comes to your phone, or if you don't have it enabled, it says, would you like to enable this? So a pretty cool thing, it's really one of those things, I didn't really think that much about it until I started using it, and I'm like, I don't know how I lived without this, because I've had the developer build of iOS 5, so I've had it from some time, so it's just nice that that's out of the box now. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this, and this is something I want to show you, Messages. Now, BlackBerry users have absolutely loved, one of the biggest draws to BlackBerry Messenger. It's an IM service that's exclusive to BlackBerry users. Well, Apple has their own now. It's called iMessage, and it's exclusive to iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch users that are running iOS 5 or above. So you have iMessage, and basically, once you turn this on, and you put in somebody's phone number, you put in somebody's email address, it auto-detects on its own, and sometimes it does have issues, at least right now, which I'm sure those will be worked out in a future software update. But right now, let's say if I send a text message to my Verizon iPhone, or I send a text message to Taylor, or I send a text message to somebody that has Alex, for example. Somebody that has an iPhone, I type in his phone number, type in his name, and I hit it. It auto-detects that he has an iPhone, and it sends it via iMessage as opposed to text messaging. So this is great if you have a lot of friends. You don't want to send text messages because it costs too much, or you don't have an unlimited data or an unlimited text plan. You can use iMessage and it comes out of your data plan very much like BBM. So you can turn it on, it's quick and easy to use, and we can wait for activation. I actually don't want to activate that right now, but quick and easy to use, and it shows delivered and read receipts once you send stuff back and forth, and it's nice because the way to remember that is, we'll go in here to Messages so you can see again, the way to remember is green means that it's a text message. Blue means it's an iMessage. So if I start typing and it's like, oh, this is 9000 is an iPhone here, it'll pop up with a blue send button. If it's like, oh, it's not an iPhone, it's something else, it'll pop up with a green send button because it's going to default to text message. And you'll always see up here at the top whether it's text message or whether it's an iMessage. So pretty cool feature there. And I know I'm kind of running through these quickly, but we're obviously running out of time. I want to show you the 5 megapixel camera on the 8 megapixel camera on this device is capable of shooting video at 1080p. And it's a pretty impressive camera, an impressive camera that was already pretty awesome on the old iPhone, and it's gotten significantly better on the 4S. I've been absolutely amazed with pictures. I don't have anything that I can take right now, but I want to show you some of these pictures. For example, the one I took of my cat here. This is Mittens Baker, and you can see, we'll zoom in here, for example, or focus in rather, because I want you to see the detail in this picture. This picture is not altered, not edited in any way. I took this on the phone, and just take a look at little things like the whiskers here, and just the way the hair is on her face. I mean, just absolutely fantastic picture, and you can see, I mean, just very, very clear, and you can see how it kind of focuses out her body, but focuses in on the head, because that was where I was targeting the focus. It's just a really impressive picture. I don't know why I did it that way, but you can see some other ones here that I took. I took a lot of the same ones because she's kind of hard to take pictures of, but you can just see how clear it is. I've been really impressed with this camera. This camera definitely gives any other camera on the market a run for its money. It's going to be interesting to do maybe a camera dogfight between this and the Android contender on the market, which to me is the HTC Amaze 4G. But I've been really impressed with that. But you do have the camera, and you'll see in iOS 5, they've added a camera button down here so I can easily flip right back. I can do a couple of different things from this. I can turn on the flash, I can change my options to do grid or HDR, I can flip the camera around, oh, and then I can go down here and switch from camera to camcorder, which it should default to 1080p just by doing that. So 1080p HD video recording and an 8 megapixel camera, huge improvements here. Colors are incredibly rich. The picture looks fantastic. Even in low lit situations, I've been really impressed with the camera. So kudos to Apple on that. They took an excellent camera and made it even better. Let's take a look also at the App Store. And let me pull this away here so I can make sure it loads up. And this is one of those areas where you're going to see I'm loading Weather Channel right now. It's going to be one of those areas where you really kind of see that Sprint's 3G network has been kind of struggling. It seems like it's performing okay in this video, but I'll show you some speed test numbers in just a few minutes. And I've been kind of frustrated with the data speeds. It's nothing new. Sprint's 3G has been having some issues in this area and some other big cities across the nation. But you can see it's loading up right now. But just in comparison to AT&T or Verizon, if you're coming from an AT&T phone or a Verizon iPhone, and you're thinking, the data speed, I'm coming to Sprint to get unlimited data. Well, unfortunately, the data is a little bit slower in a lot of cases. So we'll go over here and load the Weather Channel, for example, and wait for it to pop up. So no real changes to the App Store, but you can see featured categories, top 25 search, and update. And you'll notice that I actually don't have an ID signed into this. But once you have an ID signed in, again, this is where iCloud works as magic. And if I had my personal ID signed into this, it wouldn't say install, or it would say install, I'm sorry, it would say installed if I remember right, but it knows which ones you've already purchased and which ones you haven't. So it would say something like installed versus, and I can't remember the other thing that it says, but you can install. Once you click on that, all you do is enter your password, and then down here it just shows the description. It's going to show some screenshots, which again, still loading on Sprint. The ratings, tell a friend, report a problem, and some information about the company and the app itself. So you have that, and the same thing applies over here with iCloud. You can download apps that if you go into the App Store, you can download apps that you haven't downloaded before on this device. You can download them thanks to iCloud. It goes back and remembers which ones you had previously on your account. So again, iCloud's really nice. It's one of those things you don't really see the benefits out of the box, but once you start playing with it, you're like, wow, I can re-download all my music. I can re-download all my apps, and it doesn't have to touch a computer. It's pretty impressive to see how the cloud syncing works. Same thing goes with iTunes. Like I said, you can download all of your songs there as well. Now, one important thing, or one cool thing at least to me, is Newsstand. And this is something, some people don't care for, but I like this little Newsstand thing. You can go into the App Store and download New York Times, Washington Post, several other papers, and keep those in your Newsstand, and then just click on it, and you can see checking for updates now. And I've got my my updates over here, and I can scroll up and down just like I'm reading the paper, but it keeps them all in this little convenient Newsstand little drawer, if you will, over here, which is really nice. I like that feature. And I just wanted to focus on that really quickly. I want to do a speed test. I want to do it live on camera so you can see what I'm talking about. But here are some of the data speeds I've been getting over the past few days. Needless to say, in comparison to AT&T's HSPA Plus and even Verizon's EVDO Revision A, it's not quite up to par. You can see, look how slow some of these speeds are. Some of these are worse than dial-up, and some of these are just a little bit faster than dial-up. But look at the upload speeds. been pretty frustrated, but then you'll see kind of a wild card every now and again, like, and I hate to call it a wild card because it's still not great speeds, but 0.74 megabits per second. You can see some wild ones down here at the bottom. I think I have a couple of 1 megabit per second ones over. Yeah, 1.52. But take a look at the time. 3:02 in the morning when I ran that one. 1:52 in the morning. So a lot of them are really low traffic times where there's nobody on the cell site, and the speeds are pretty decent as a result. But let's go ahead and load it up and see what we can get this time around. Now, I've worked with this device for a couple of days. I can tell you call quality is fantastic. The earpiece is fantastic. I was using it today actually when I went to lunch. Was on the phone, actually had a call with a PR person, and I was walking by somebody that was playing music, and I said, oh, hang on, let me get by this person that's playing music. And she said, what music? And I thought, wow, that's some fantastic noise cancellation. So I've been pretty impressed, and my callers have been impressed as well with the overall earpiece performance, microphone performance, and just wireless radio performance in general. Wireless radio seems as strong, if not a little bit stronger actually, than the iPhone 4. I've been impressed with that. Now, battery life, it's still better than any Android handset I've worked with by far, but it is noticeable from the 4. Now, it has a dual-core processor. Apple still rates it around 8 hours of use, and I'm not sure if they're talking about the GSM version or the CDMA version, or they're kind of taking an average of both. But, it's funny. I made it through the day from, about 7 o'clock in the morning until about 9 o'clock at night before the device required a recharge yesterday. So something to keep in mind. Still better battery than anyone I've worked with on the Android side, but I still could definitely use some work. Or at least hopefully it'll get better over time, maybe with some software updates. It's not as good as the iPhone 4, so if you're coming from that, get a charger, get a spare car charger or something. But if you're coming from Android and you're like, I just need something with better battery life, I think you'll be pretty impressed with this device still. But anyway, 0.40 megabits per second, so a little bit faster than what I've been seeing throughout the workday. But still definitely needs some work. I'm still pretty unimpressed with that. No real changes here either to the call log, and you can see here, or the phone app rather. You can see that the keys are still here. Same apps or the icons down here: voicemail, keypad, contacts, recents, and favorites. So no real change. But all in all, a nice evolutionary upgrade for the iPhone 4S. They sold 4 million of these in over the weekend, so it's an impressive device. It's coming to, like I said, it's on AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. Several different carriers, several different flavors, several different colors, a lot of different choices for people, and it definitely does. Even though it's an evolutionary upgrade, I know a lot of people are kind of sick of seeing this design. It's still a beautiful phone. It has some incredible features. The specs are great, and it can compete with any high-end Android device on the market and definitely hold its own and really actually improve or actually be better in a lot of cases than some Android devices. So it all depends on what you want. If you want a consistent performance, you want a media ecosystem, I say go iOS. If you want something like Gmail support, you want something with, you can hack and mod and go crazy with, I say go Android. But, otherwise, it depends on the person. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the iPhone 4S. Be sure and watch, because we're going to have some dogfights between this and some of the high-end Android devices on the market, the Amaze, the Galaxy S2, devices like that. So keep it locked in the site for those. Be sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PhoneDog, and be sure to follow me on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron, and on my personal Facebook page at facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.